Hey guys, Stephen Cox here, and today we're going to be learning how to read tablature for bass ukulele, as well as how to use that skill to play our first song. So if you like videos like these, please hit subscribe below and consider becoming a patron, where you can download the PDF version of this course, and this is part 5 of the course. So first, let's talk about what tablature is. Tablature is an easy way to read music on fretted string instruments. So like a bass guitar or a 6-string guitar, either way. But basically what we do is we use horizontal lines that represent the strings. So for our bass ukulele, we'll have 4 lines, and each of those represent the strings. And then we'll have numbers on those lines that represent our frets. So we basically just need to know which line corresponds to which string, and then we see a number on there. If it has a 2 on the line, that will correspond to the 2nd fret. So the lines that represent our strings are going to be from thickest to thin, starting on the bottom being the thickest and the thinnest line on top. So when you see these 4 lines going across, our E string is going to be on the bottom, then our A string, then our D string, and then our G string. Now when you look at the bass guitar, you might be like, well, that's the opposite of the way they are, right? The G string's down here and the E string's up here. So why is it reversed? Basically, the thicker string is going to be a lower pitch. So on the paper, they're laid out in terms of low pitch to high pitch, bottom to top. So our E string will be on the bottom, then our A string, then our D string, then our G string. All right, so then, as you notice, we have numbers kind of on the line where it looks like the line is going through the number. Those numbers once again represent our frets. So basically, if you don't remember what a fret is, we'll recap it right now. The frets are technically these little pieces of metal, but we're thinking of them more as these little squares where we push down to play our notes. So the first fret would be this area right here between the nut and the first actual piece of metal, the first fret itself. We're going to push down in the middle of there, hold it down, and play a note. So if we have the 2nd fret on the D string, like our first note in this little example, basically we're going to go to the D string. We're going to push down on that 2nd little square from the end, our 2nd fret. We're going to hold that down and pluck that string. So once again, I'm holding the 2nd fret down on the D string and plucking the D string as well. So when we're reading the tablature, we have our 4 lines, and we're going to read left to right, and we're going to read all 4 of those lines at the same time. So that means whichever string has a number on it first, once you hit it, that's going to be the one that we play first. So on the example down below, if we're going across from the beginning of the 4 lines, the first number we hit is a 2, and that 2 is on the D string. So we will play the 2nd fret on the D string, which is that 2nd little space. There's the first one, there's the 2nd one, where we push down in between the pieces of metal and we pluck that string, which is the D string. Then the next note we come to is the same note. It's a 2 on the D string. So 2nd fret on the D string again. Then we'll come to a 3rd fret on the D string. And finally, the 4th number that we get to is a 0 on the G string. Now, a 0 is just an open string. That means our left hand won't do anything. We just remove our hand from the string. It doesn't have to float this far out, but I'm just demonstrating that you're not touching the string. And then you'll pluck the G string, because that's where the 0 is. So if I play these 4 notes in a row, this is what it sounds like. So hopefully that gives you a good idea on how to read tablature. One thing I want to mention with reading tablature is it doesn't exactly give us the rhythm. It might give us an idea of the rhythm by how far out those numbers are spaced from one another, but it's really just an approximation. So in order to play with tabs, you really have to have heard the song before and kind of know what the rhythm is. And if you don't, then we have standard notation that helps us. So on my music and a lot of other people's music, like if you go and buy the official music in a songbook, you might see the bass clef up top, which is like the sheet music, like what you would find that a piano player would play or any other instrumentalist would play with musical notes on it. And then you have that part connected down to the tabs. So look down below, you'll see the standard notation, that musical notation is on top, and then our tabs are underneath it. And if you look at the note, the little round part with a little line coming out of it, you'll notice it's directly above the number. And each time we have a number, we have a note directly above it. That's because they're basically telling us the same thing. The musical notation just gives us a little more information, which we'll learn about later. So now that we understand the basics, it's time to read our first song. This is Ode to Joy. Alright guys, that's it for part 5 of my bass ukulele course. I hope you've enjoyed learning how to read tablature and play Ode to Joy. If you like videos like these, once again, please subscribe below and consider becoming a patron where you can download the PDF of this course. I will see you guys next time for part 6. Thanks for watching.